Australia's national broadcaster revealed in a story this week that Anthropic plans to build somewhere between 5 to 20 gigawatts of data centres in Australia. Let me give you a sense of scale about what that means. 20 gigawatts is 33 times the existing power consumption of data centres in Australia. If Anthropic were to cover off the 5 gigawatts with renewables, they would need to build the equivalent of 40% of all renewable energy built in Australia to date. If Anthropic were to cover off with 100% renewables 20 gigawatts, they would have to build 1.7 times the amount of renewables built in Australia in the past 26 years. 20 gigawatts of power consumption is 2/3 of the average level of power consumption across all of Australia. This story is a really nice example of why countries actually need to place limits on data center construction rather than just mandating 100% renewables. Ireland is a country where about 23% of the total electricity demand is for data centers. They implemented a moratorium a few years ago, and now it's about to be lifted. They've proposed a mandate of 80% renewables for all new data centers, but it only starts in 6 years' time. There's a new piece of research out by researcher Hannah Daly who found that in that 6 years, a huge amount of harm occurs. They basically assume that they don't really need to do anything now, and that they'll kind of hit that target in 6 years' time when it becomes mandatory. We've seen this before. This is the exact model of greenwashing behind corporate net zero targets. The reason this is a huge climate threat is because greenhouse gases accumulate in the atmosphere like a bucket filling up. So if you basically say, you can pollute now and offset your emissions later, that's not really what the atmosphere sees. The atmosphere just sees 6 years of a huge amount of gas being burnt. Australia is formally considering a 100% renewable energy mandate, and I have a new piece out in Crikey that looks at what that might look like. One of the huge risks here is that you end up with a policy that looks like it's doing something, but it's filled with loopholes and delays and all these things that basically just mean the big polluters can pollute as much as they want. Again, this is exactly what we have seen in the fossil fuel industry and other high polluting sectors like Bitcoin mining, like plastics production, like car manufacturers making SUVs. If Australia wants to protect its renewable energy resources and ensure that they're being used for a real purpose, like getting fossil fuels out of the system, then it basically means you have to stop data centers and the tech industry from hijacking that goal and redirecting all those resources towards powering the slop factories.